And then there's the tax debate. Over the last year, Republicans have repeatedly claimed that they would advance policies designed to benefit middle-class families, not the wealthy. President Trump pledged not to forget the, quote, forgotten men and women of our country. Steve Mnuchin, the Secretary of Treasury, promised that the Republican tax plan would help the middle class. He vowed that any tax cuts for upper-income earners would be offset by getting rid of deductions that benefit the wealthy. That's what he said. Let me quote Secretary Mnuchin. He said, quote, "There will be no absolute tax cut for the upper class." But again, Madam President, 83% of the benefits in the Republican tax bill go to the richest 1%. What he said just isn't true. Even just the other day, the White House press secretary claimed that President Trump himself will pay more because of this bill. You don't know for sure exactly what its effect will be on his personal finances because the White House has refused to release his tax returns, claiming in another lie that he can't release them because they're under audit. You can release tax returns while you're under audit. What we do know, Mr. President, is that tax breaks in the Republican bill for real estate developers like President Trump and his family will save him millions upon millions of dollars. I could go on and on. You know, before I came to the Senate, I was known as something of an obsessive on the subject of honesty in public discourse. But as I leave the Senate, I feel I have to admit that it feels like we're losing the war for truth. And maybe it's already lost. And if that's the case, if that's what happens, then we have lost the ability to have the kinds of argument that help build consensus, or at least help the American people make informed choices about the issues that affect their lives. So what is to be done? Who will stand up and fight for a more honest debate? To insist that even though we have a different set of opinions, we cannot honorably advance our competing agendas unless we use the same set of facts. Well, I hope that my colleagues on both sides of the aisle will stand up for truth. The thing is, I have spent enough time with my Republican friends over the last 8.5 years to know that you are motivated by values just like Democrats. I just hope that you will fight for those values forthrightly. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the American people, just like it's always been. We will always have the democracy we deserve, if not the government we want. It's going to take ordinary Americans deciding to become more informed consumers of political news and opinion, and deciding that they're willing to be part of the argument themselves instead of simply tuning out all of the noise. And if they do, I know that we will get this country back on track.